Hello my gorgeous makeup loving friends, how's it going? Welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, hi, my name is Teresa. If you were watching my channel before, particularly on Sunday, I have a swatching Sunday and I was giving swatches of the Glaminatrix Cosmetics Sugar and Spice palette, and I promised that I would do a look using this. So that is what today's video is all about. It is a tutorial of this look, but more importantly, an overall review. So to let you know whether or not this palette is actually worth your money. So if that sounds like something you are interested in, then do please keep on watching. I'm very bold. I decided I'd be extra mean when filming with this palette, and I'd use the colours that are the most difficult to formulate. So like those sort of pastel-y colours. So that's part of what this look is today, just in case you're wondering what is going on. Yeah, so we'll get straight into it. I have this P. Louise brush. It's nice, it's small, it's floofy, and I'm going into the shade Mint. So I'm just kind of popping that on there. You can see actually very, very pigmented straight off, which is very, very impressive with a very pastel-y colour. And I don't have very many mint shades, so I'm really happy that this is in here. Now, it took every bit of like restraint to not shove all of the shimmers onto my eyes, because if you watched my Swatching Sundays video, you would have seen just how spectacular they are, particularly in the light. So frankly, give me a medal for like playing with the mattes. Like, there's nothing wrong with the mattes, but like when you're faced with those shimmers, like what can you do? But you'll see this mint is very, very buildable. Like, look at that. Now, obviously I am the colour of what can only be described as salmonella, an uncooked chicken, raw and ready to kill you. So for me, obviously a lot of shades come up on me, no problem. So I would like to know if anyone else has this, and do they have like a deeper skin tone? How is this showing up on them? Because I know that people who are watching this might be thinking about whether or not they want to purchase this. So if you could put that information down below to help people make decisions, that would be spectacular. But as you can see, look at how easily that has come up on me. Like, zero effort, which, as you all know, that's the exact amount of effort that I'm personally quite comfortable with. And now I'm taking a blank canvas E10 and I'm going into the shade Sticky Date. And I have, by the way, tapped off some of the excess onto a resin palette. You can use anything, like a plastic palette, whatever, just because I didn't want it to come on too much. So I'm just kind of putting that where the brow bone is to ease some of the transition, because I was like, there's a pastel purple, I need to use this, but how do I put pastel purple and a mint together? That's kind of what threw me a little, like the pastel colours in here. I was like, how do I fling these together? So I purposefully used all three of the pastel, the mint, the yellow, and the kind of pastel-y purple, because I was like, well, let's see what we can do here. As you can see, very nice amount of pigment. This is why, by the way, I did kind of tap off excess, because you will just get too much otherwise. So keep that in mind. It's very, very buildable. So great if you're a little bit nervous of colours, but they do obviously, look at the sheer wash of colour I get there with the green. Like, that's perfect. So just keep at it steadily and you'll get there. I'm now taking the Suva 410 and I'm going into the shade Gumdrop. Again, just tapping off the excess, because this is actually pretty darn pigmented when you get it on. As you can see, the shade Sticky Date and Mint actually blended together quite nicely. So I'm just taking this Gumdrop shade and just kind of making a sort of a V shape, a sideways V. A V that has had a spectacular night out and has just fallen over and doesn't know how to get back up again. So with this, you do just kind of like, I find even just tapping it in is really, really helpful. You get that little bit of extra pigment. Again, I'm tapping off excess because it's easier to add on than it is to like take pigment away. And honestly, it's just easier for me, because again, if you know me, I'm lazy when it comes to makeup. Like, I want to do interesting things, but I don't want to sit here for like a million hours. I have a life to lead, etc, etc. But you can see really, really nice pigment again here. And I mean, again, if you know anything about makeup, you will know that purples are an absolute nightmare to try and formulate. And then you add on like a more pastel shade of a purple, not that this is true pastel, but it's definitely like a much lighter purple. Then you've added in a whole new dimension of difficulty. So I actually think that this is done very, very well. Okay, so we've built up the colour quite a bit here. Does it look like a strange mix? Yes. But this is a standard case of trust the process. I now have a Spectrum B11 and I'm going into the shade Brownie. Again, when in doubt, tapping off the excess, and I'm kind of putting it in the corner of the eye and then building it up towards the purple and towards that shade Sticky Date. Just kind of add a little bit of like interesting warmth and have them blend together in a slightly more simple fashion. On a completely different, unrelated note, you guys know that I have been freaking out over the Danessa Myricks Groundwork palette. Myricks, not Merrick's. The Danessa Myricks Groundwork palette. Well, it came to Cult Beauty the other day and I picked it up. Now, it seems it's taking a while to deliver, but I'm hoping I'll have it so that I'll have a video up for next week. If you guys want, comment down below if that's something that you actually want to see. I want to do a full face of it, like try and use that as much as possible. I know that like it can be used with brows, but you've seen my brows. There's not really a lot that I can do with them. I don't really want to add any more to them. But let me know if you want to see a video on that because, well, fuck it, I'm probably going to do it anyways. I'm now taking a Zoeva 225 and I'm going into the shade Licorice. If you've watched any of my videos before, you know that this is my go-to when taking on a black and kind of smoking it out. It's perfection for that. Like I am 99.9% certain that this brush is sold on Beauty Bay. If it is, I'm going to have a link down below because if you don't have one, I truly feel like you could do with one. Like they're pretty great. Like look at that. Again, I tapped out the excess, but I am just smoking that out, bringing it a little bit into the lid and in towards the crease. It's such a great brush. And I have to say thank you to my friend Daniela because she's the one who put me onto this brush. This was not a, oh, Teresa goes off and discovers something. No. Teresa discovered nothing. Teresa just had somebody else show her these things, and I don't know why I'm talking about myself in the third person. That's weird and that's creepy, but I guess that's my brand now. But you can see that disperses quite nicely. Now what I'm going to do in the interim is kind of add on those colors again, kind of like the browns, so Brownie, Sticky Date, Gumdrop, etc., and kind of blend them out. But you don't need to see that, that's dull. So just in case you're wondering why, it's going to look a little bit different when I come back, just as an FYI. So it's still looking a little bit chaotic, but don't worry, stick with me. I have this Morphe sort of packing brush and I'm going into the shade Vanilla. This is one of those crazy shimmers that is just, there's like a greeny reflect on it and it is just so beautiful. I couldn't resist. It just had to go onto my eye. And I love that this actually functions with a brush. You know, a lot of shimmers you have to like add with your finger, but look at that. Hopefully you can see it. I'll just turn my head a couple of times. Hopefully you can see the reflect, but again, remember I have like lots of studio lights, so that won't give you the best indication of what this looks like. But I really wanted to pack it on there the inner corner and just lightly skirt it out there. But I mean, look at it. It's so pretty. I would have children with this, and I'm not a kids person. And then I'm taking this Jessup 237 and I'm going into the shade Lavender. And I just want to put that kind of there. Yes, it looks super, super harsh and you're like, what the hell is going on here? That's okay. That's okay, my gorgeous friends, because we are going to blend it out. It's not going to continue to look this harsh. Breathe. All will come to us in time. So I'm literally just taking this Morphe Jeffree Star brush. It's the JS8 and there's no product on it, and I'm just going to blend along here, particularly up here where that shade Lavender is, to kind of pop it down here. It's going to smooth it out a little bit and make it a little bit less raccoony. Not that there's anything wrong with raccoons. I fucking love raccoons. I'm on that side of TikTok where it's just like there's this person and they have like a raccoon drive-through, which sounds really weird, but it's essentially, it's just their window in their kitchen, and they leave like little snacks, little snickety snacks for the raccoons to grab. And honest to God, it's the best thing. I just love it. I love raccoons. They are adorable. So as you can tell, this has dispersed things quite a bit. It still looks a little bit manic, but that's totally fine. I'm going to cut out this sort of a shape and we'll come back and just finish that off, because it's actually quite simple apart from like the cutting out bit. But as long as you have a steady hand and a belief in cut creases, you're fine. Trust me. So as you can see, I've been very, very mean in that I've put down a base that is not white. I do have a white base. Actually, the lovely Tina sent me one and Ida helped me get my hands on one. But I have this one open and I also wanted to see just how true to colour would that yellow actually be. I haven't been very nice on doing that, but whatever. I am taking this Zoeva 238. You know it is my love, it is my life, and I'm going into the shade Taffy. And this is just super, super simple. I am just covering the lid, the rest of that cut crease completely in this shade. As you can see, it is a little bit powdery, that's fine, but it does build up absolutely no problem at all. So as you can hopefully see, we have built up that yellow quite easily. Didn't take long, only about a minute, but I was like, ugh, you don't need to see that, it's dull. But I have this Zoeva 238 and I had to go back into that gorgeous shade Vanilla. Because again, you know, a lot of these shades, they have that duochrome bit, and depending upon what they're on top of, they can look a little bit different. So I obviously have it on the mint, but I figured let's try it on the yellow as well, just to get that extra shift. So that's what's going on right now. And I just absolutely love that you get that lovely shimmer basically straight away. Like, look at that, no effort, glides on. And again, I'm being very mean. I'm not putting on any sort of glitter glue. Aren't I the worst? I'd say you get even more intensity with that, but look it, I'm lazy today. It's actually a Sunday afternoon. Yeah, afternoon, it's about 4 o'clock. So that's what I'm up to today. So I'm just popping that along this half of the lid. So as you can hopefully see, that shade looks a little bit different when it's on that yellow base. It brings out the yellows in that shade a little bit more, so we get a bit more dimension. Now, finishing off, I'm taking another Zoeva 238 and I'm taking up the shade Basil, which is a sort of a purple to blue shift. And I said before in my swatching video, it's not kind of the shade that I would have put with that name. Like, I've never seen Basil that colour. Just saying. Now this one is a little bit more sheer. You do have to build it up. You don't get full opacity straight away, not like you do with Vanilla, but if you keep working at it, the payoff is pretty nice. Now this is a very standard colour. If you have any duochromes in your collection, you probably have something quite like it already, but you can see already we're starting to get the build up there. So I'm just going to finish that off. Okay, so we're pretty much there. I'm just taking this coloured rain brush and I'm just going to go between those two shades, Basil and Vanilla, and just kind of merge them a little bit more. Is this a very clean blend? No, but fuck it, whatever. Nobody is going to see this except for people on the internet, and they don't care. So yeah, that is essentially it. I am going to put on the liner in case you're wondering what it is. It's LA Splash in the shade Divinity. It's sort of a dual-ended liner, and just the black doesn't work on it great, so I've actually used an ABH kind of liquid liner just to fully get that. Unfortunately, Beauty Bay don't stock those anymore, so you have to buy through LA Splash. I'll have a link down below. If it's affiliated, it's going to have like an asterisk next to it. That's a very difficult word. But I'm going to finish off the rest of this look and I'll come back and you'll see what it all looks like together. I may add some gems, because I have issues. I returned and I did put on gems. I said I would and I couldn't actually help it. But this is the look all together. I'm going to zoom you in now so you can see what it looks like all finished. So this is the eye look. I think really the eyeliner is quite cool. Like I said before, it's the shade Divinity, and you can kind of see that shade Vanilla when it's put on the mint versus the shade Taffy. It looks quite different. But as always, things look a little bit different when I have the glasses off. I felt like a half lash would work quite well with this. It's not super dramatic. Are the eyes twins? No. Is this the best work I've ever done? No. Is it the worst? No. And at the end of the day, it's just makeup. It all washes off. So as I said, this is the finished look. It's actually not that difficult, apart from like a cut crease. It is just like a little bit of blending. Now, I actually think that this blended out really well. And actually, just as an FYI, I put the shade Meringue, which is quite a matte shade, under the eye to kind of brighten. Perfection for that. All in all, I think this is such a fabulous palette, and I didn't even get to use all of the shimmers. I actually only used, what, 2 of them? Well done me for restraint. Let's be real, there's shades in here like Star Anise and Mustard, etc. that are just like phenomenal, but I really wanted to look at the rest of the palette. It's like we did look at the staples, so to speak. I looked at a lot of the neutrals, and I looked at those matte shades, and I have to say I was quite happy with them. Now, Taffy was a little bit powdery, but in my opinion, yellow was very difficult to get right, and I actually think they did a very good job on this. The purple worked pretty well, you just had to blend it out, but there was no patchiness, which I really appreciate. Can't get over the colour that came off of Mint. Like, that was incredible. All in all, very happy with this particular palette. If I was to give this a rating out of 10, I would give it, I think maybe an 8.5. I'm taking a little bit off just because the yellow, the purple and the green, it's not immediately obvious what to do with them. You know, it's very difficult to pair them. You can pair the yellow with the green, but you can't really pair purple with yellow or green, so it's a little bit fragmented. I will also say the yellow probably isn't quite as pigmented as I would like. You do have to work with it just a smidge, but again, this is just me being very pernickety. However, I would get this palette for those shimmers. I genuinely think they're absolutely stunning, particularly out in the sunlight. As I said, I did a Swatching Sundays, so I have like pictures of this or videos of this in the sunlight, so you can really see just how incredible it actually is. I think the price is pretty good. They did kind of decrease the size of their pans, I assume, to kind of give you more shades for your money, which I appreciate. I am never really going to hit pan on things, so that's quite cool. Yeah, so I think a solid 8.5 out of 10. It's very good. Very good. I don't feel, however, it's an entirely standalone palette. I did really challenge myself trying to just use all of the mattes in there. But in all, I do actually think this is worth the money, and I was quite impressed with the 2 white kind of mattes, the creamy mattes, and just how pigmented they were and how they came up on me. So I found that quite good. But my gorgeous friends, that's it. That's the end of this video. Do please like, comment and subscribe. All of those things help my channel massively because I'm small channel-wise and height-wise, but not width-wise. So when you like, comment, all of that sort of thing, it really helps. I massively appreciate it. Massive thank you to my YouTube members. Hugely appreciate you guys. And you know the drill, lads. Do please share, because sharing is caring, except of course for STDs. In which case, wrap it up, don't be gross. But that's it. That's the end of this video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.